a great gorgeous girl tonight.
Very classy, a maker of champions.
The giant WrestleMania.
I'm so sick of these people. You know, I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
I got that thing on me. I got that stick. I got that tool. I'm packing.
You must be some kind of a dumbass. And I will never retire. You know, this aggression will not stand, man.
Now get that garbage out of here.
It doesn't matter what you think.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and wrestling fans, to another edition of FNR Friday Night Review. I am your main man for the evening, KMG. That is Scalz right above me in your top left and in your top right. We have our guest of the evening, Metalcore Mike. Gentlemen, how is it going on your Friday evening?
Mike, how's your evening?
It's Friday. It's a good evening. You know?
Tonight was a really good episode of Smackdown, coming off that kickoff show from last night. Oh, man, we got lots to talk about.
Yes,
Agreed.
absolutely.
So you want to get Drew versus AJ Styles. This match was hard-hitting throughout the entire match.
Thanks.
It was great. And then LA Net on commentary was hilarious, too. When AJ was thrown on the side of the announce table, and he just casually laid the bottle of water over pouring on him.
Did you see the hand when AJ slapped the bottle out of his
It
hand?
just stuck in the bottom corner. Yeah, it was like it stuck there, like it was like a dart.
He couldn't do that again if he even
Nope.
tried.
He just went like whack, and it just dunk, and it just stood there. It was great.
I took video of that too. I had to. Like, that's something that would never happen again, even if they tried.
What do you think of this match, Cam?
Oh, yeah, like I said, just to what you said, everything you said, I agree with. Hard-hitting match. Two great guys, two great top stars. Again, like I said, it's unfortunate that, you know, we got to have one qualifier, we got to have one loser. And so the question I kept asking myself throughout the course of this show, that was like, okay, so the competitors that don't, because there's some big names, and these are not just some, you know, jobbers in this match, in these qualifying matches. These are some big names. So my thing is like, okay, so whoever is not, you know, making the chamber, I'm thinking like, well, you know, what are we doing? We always, you know, depict or try to make predictions for these title matches for Mania, but what about these other like mid card storylines? Like who was Randy gonna I don't see Randy. I know Randy qualified for the chamber, but I don't see him winning the chamber. So it's like who's Randy gonna face? Who's AJ gonna face now that he lost? You know, who's Sammy gonna face? Like all these big names that are currently have no path for Mania right now. It's like I'm curious.
We got to get through Chamber first.
Yeah, true.
That's where a lot of the stories can evolve. And then once we get through that, you'll start to see the clearer picture of where these wrestlers are, who they're going to fight, what's going to happen. I feel like we need to get through that one show. And I do like the fact that there is 6 weeks until Mania from the show and no other pay-per-view.
Yeah.
What's going on, Allison? How are we doing tonight?
What's up, Al?
Rex making her appearance tonight.
Yeah, I agree. This was a very hard hitting match. This is a match I honestly wouldn't mind seeing again, just for the sake of it being a match. It doesn't even need to mean anything. This was a really good match to kick things off. And the hard part is you had Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles, two guys that you would have thought would have been in the chamber itself. And, you know, with Drew coming out with the win, I mean, Cam, I'm with you. I kind of think, you guys know me, I think ahead too. And I have a feeling that it's going to ultimately be Drew. And like you said, like where did these other guys go? Like I could see, like the OC taking on the Profits and Bobby Lashley in a 6-man. And that would pretty much put those two in a position. Logan Paul, LA Knight. But the other guys, really not sure. I mean, do you think they can even pull off a triple threat with LA Knight, Kevin Owens, and Logan Paul? Again, thinking ahead. But we got a lot of time.
We gotta get through.
We got to get through Chamber first. I was getting there, Scalz.
I know, but we just said that literally 10 seconds before you started talking about thinking ahead. We just said we're not going to know what's happening on these guys until we see what happens at Chamber.
That's why I said we got to get through Chamber first. I was getting there.
I think they can benefit from, again, thinking ahead here. I think they could benefit from bringing back the multi-man ladder matches, because I think they could have a multi-man ladder match for the U.S. title. I mean, why not? I mean, you could put a lot of your top guys, some of the top names in that match. But again, gotta get through Chamber first. I know. Yeah. I'm just thinking ahead here, So
well, it's almost like they tried to start a tradition of that back at WrestleMania 31 with the 6-7 guys in a ladder match for the Intercontinental. Then they did it at 32. Yeah. And then we got around to 33 and they didn't do it. Yeah. It's like they tried to start a tradition of doing it, but quickly stopped it.
I used to enjoy those
matches in the match. They started doing Money in the Bank at Mania. That's why they got rid of it from.
Well, no, Money in the Bank was back at WrestleMania 21 was Money in the Bank. WrestleMania 31 is when they started the Intercontinental tournament.
Yeah.
Because they cut out the Money in the Bank. And
they cut that out a while ago.
25 or 26 was the last time they did Money in the Bank at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Because I know they definitely did one at 31. Because wasn't that when Daniel Bryan won?
Yeah, Daniel Bryan won the Intercontinental at 31, and Zack Ryder won WrestleMania 32.
Yeah, I used to look forward to those matches too, because those were actually pretty good.
And they both years that match kicked off WrestleMania. And then we didn't get it at 33 because we got at 33 on the pre-show was Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental title.
33 was a tag match for a ladder match because that's when the Hardys returned.
Yeah,
that was for the tag. Yeah, that was for the tag titles.
Yeah. Right, but it still was a ladder match.
Yeah. But it's
but we're saying for like the mid card titles. That's what we're saying.
The same, like the singles mid cards. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not going to have multiple of the same match on it.
No,
I do like that they were rotating it. Is what I'm saying. Like they were rotating it between titles to keep just a ladder match on the card.
Right. I'm just saying I think they could benefit from bringing it back because they could put a lot of their top names in it. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying.
They can also use some of the talent that you see on TV, but not in a main storyline.
Right.
Somebody like a Chad Gable, like he's not in a storyline, but he's super popular.
Right.
Put him in the match, give him an opportunity. Why not? Or like an Akira Tozawa, popular but not in a storyline.
Right. I could see it. But back to SmackDown. Next we had what was the next match? We had
Bianca Belair versus Michin.
We had another qualifying match. Bianca Belair versus Michin. I mean, this match was good for what it was.
Would have been better if Michin won.
It was obvious. Like Bianca wasn't losing this match.
Yeah, of course, because they put her up against somebody that they know won't be able to beat her. The fans no even reason to watch this match.
Pretty much. I mean, it was okay for what it was, I guess. Obvious. Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah. Bianca doesn't need to win every single match she's in. She needs to start losing.
Yeah, she does because she's like the walking billboard for WWE right now.
She's
Got her
okay.
own reality show now, and
All right, she's like I've said for many times, she's Bianca Cena.
Like Cam was saying, she's the walking billboard. She's got her own show. She's on the cover of the new game. Like and like you said, new Cena. I mean, my thoughts on this, Bianca, when Bianca came out, I was like, who's she gonna face? And then when they introduced Mishin, I was like, okay, yeah, Bianca's winning this match. There's no way they're gonna keep Bianca out of the chamber and put Mishin in there. You know, it was a complete obvious thing. I mean, it wasn't a bad match. It was a good match for what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it
No,
was
but that's my point. Is they should have put her up somebody against somebody else that people would believe that could beat her.
yeah, I agree. Kind of like what they're doing with the men's right now. The men's match.
Every match, you don't know who's going to win for the men's.
Yeah.
The women's is probably the most predictable setup for the chamber.
I mean, the only one out of the men's that's probably predictable is Bobby Lashley and Ivar.
It's Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed.
LA Knight and Ivar. That's it.
Yeah, with LA Knight winning. That's probably the only one.
That's the only obvious. But Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley, like that's, like I said, they could stick Bronson Reed in the chamber and surprise us.
I doubt it, but I hope so because I like Bronson Reed. But
well, because you still have something that's going to take Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross. So I think that's going to probably be the WrestleMania feud between those guys.
probably.
So it doesn't make sense for him to be in this match. It would make more sense for Bronson Reed to get into the chamber.
Star power. I think that's the reason why you put him in this match.
Yeah, but you already got the star power with Drew McIntyre. You're going to have it with Randy Orton. You don't need a third person like that.
You don't need a third, but use a third.
LA Knight.
Think of it. Yeah.
You're going to get Kevin Owens in it?
I mean, regardless, this chamber is going to be stacked with a bunch of stars.
Are we going to get Kevin Owens or Dominic?
Kevin Owens.
Because I have a feeling they're going to put Dominic in it.
I have a small feeling they are too.
I hope not.
I have a small feeling we're going to get Dominic over Kevin as well.
If they do, it better not be a clean victory because that's just going to make Kevin Owens look silly.
That backstage segment tonight with them was hilarious.
That's great.
Oh yeah.
And then our group just put the ice in the cake.
He crossed the T and dotted the I.
Did.
After you had the Bianca and Mishin match, we had Bayley's promo in the ring. What was your thoughts on this, guys?
Bro, once again, they're 2 for 2. Another great segment with Bayley involving Damage Control. Last week, man, it was just like it was the emotion. Like you could feel that from Bayley. Like it felt real, you know. And so I love that kind of stuff when they start blurring the lines from what's on our TV screens and what is actually like real. And tonight, I think just kind of double down on that, you know. Bayley, she's massively over. Like it's crazy. It's insane how over she is right now. And I think the storyline between her and Io right now is great. I think her and Io are going to have an amazing match at WrestleMania. I can't wait for that. And so, like I said, it was great. And then, you know, they even had, you know, Dakota come out who wasn't involved in last week at all. I think ultimately, I think you had said this, Scalz, and I think I agree with that as well. And I think that's what I would prefer to see. But I ultimately think that right now, I think Dakota's kind of biding her time. And I think she's kind of just playing Bayley right now. She's playing nice with Bayley right now. But I ultimately think she's going to turn on Bayley and join the remaining members of Damage Control. And I think she's going to become the new leader of Damage Control. Because I personally want Dakota Kai as a heel, not a face. I mean, she's good as either or, but I think she's slightly better as a heel. So I think she's ultimately going to turn on Bayley. When? I don't know, but
Yeah,
either way, it was
I
really
hope
good.
it's not a Mania. and costing her
No,
the title.
I mean, I thought about that too, and if she does turn on her at Mania, I don't think it'll cost her the match, you know. So
Good, Mike.
So I thought, just like you said, like you hope it doesn't happen at Mania. I have a small feeling it's going to, because they can ride this out to SummerSlam, where Damage Control started,
Yeah,
and we'll play the whole like full circle storyline of like it's ending where it started. SummerSlam.
but it's not ending Damage Control. She's been kicked out. You have a new leader.
And they're not even considered Damage Control anymore. The three came out under the Kabuki Warrior name, and it's three members.
No, they came out with EO's theme. They didn't use the Damage Control theme.
Yeah, but when they were announced on the announce team announced them as the Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah.
They're not even using the Damage Control name.
I don't know. I was hoping tonight that we would have seen Dakota Kai attack Bailey tonight, take off the brace, and that would have set up a match between her and Bailey. And that would have been her return match. We didn't get that, but I just don't want it to drag to Mania. Do this sooner than later, because Bailey deserves that title at Mania. And if they don't give it to her because of Dakota Kai turning on her, storyline is rinse and repeat over and over with Bailey.
I see your point. I mean, I could see her turning on her at Mania, just for that moment. But like I said, I don't see it. I don't see it costing her the match, because we've seen. I mean, it's not unheard of. Like we it's not like we haven't seen certain people interfere, or certain people turn on whatever, or turn on their partners or faction mates, whatever you want to call it, and it doesn't cost them the match. So they could, she could interfere, get involved with a chair or whatever, right? But Bailey still ends up kicking out. So that's what I could see. So and it'll just create an even bigger moment, because because that crowd's gonna be red hot through that whole match, I think, because they're gonna be rooting for Bailey. So anytime anything that EO hits and Bailey kicks out of, they're just gonna get more and more hype. So that's what I can see happening.
Mike?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I agree with Cam. I mean, they can have her turn on Bailey and the match not even end. Bailey can kick out. But the storyline's going to continue. If they do that, the story between Dakota and Bailey are going to continue, obviously, past Mania. And I could see them riding it as far as SummerSlam.
Next up, we had the number one contendership match for the tag titles, with DIY facing off against Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think of this match?
Banger. This was a very NXT centric type of match. This was something that you would see in the old black and gold days of NXT. And again, like I said, it's just more of Triple H and his brilliance, just putting over the guys. He always takes care of his guys. That's the number one thing he always does. He always takes care of his guys that came up from NXT, that worked their tails off from NXT back in the day. So never have to worry about them ever getting buried or anything like that, because he always takes care of them for sure. I didn't think DIY was winning this match at all, because I mean they already really had their shot. So I definitely saw Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne winning this match. But DIY, I mean they got in most of the offense, especially towards the end of that match. So for the ending, and Pete Dunne hitting his finisher at the end, I think was like a bit abrupt, not in a bad way, but it was just like it just happened so fast. By the way, like I said, it's going to be a banger match between them and Judgment Day at Elimination Chamber. I think we get new champions. I hope so. Judgment Day, I don't think they're not really doing anything with the titles. I think they've taken the titles to as high as they can really go right now. So I think it's time to get new champs. And you know, I wouldn't think Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate would have been. I never thought they would be a tag team that would ever hold the tag team titles on the main roster. It just never crossed my mind. But again, for the time being, to really spark the tag team division back up again, I think they're a good in a good position to do that.
I wonder if this leads to the titles being split again. As much as I don't want it to happen.
It could. I mean, I don't want that either. I guess I've been calling for just give us one set of titles. We don't need two titles.
Well, that's the thing. They never did They never did the one set. And now that the divisions are stacked on both shows, I can see them going back to a tag titles for each brand.
Weren't we supposed to get new belt designs a while ago?
I think
2019.
I think we're still getting that though.
They've had they've had a belt made for the tag title since 2019 and have yet to use it.
Oh,
I think we're getting it soon.
They need to pull them out of wherever they have them locked up and get them out.
I don't think they do that. I don't think they do that until the shows are on the new channels. Especially with Raw moving over to Netflix next year. I don't think they're going to debut the new tag titles until probably January.
So you don't think we can get them in October when SmackDown goes to USA?
I think that maybe there's one for SmackDown that's made, and then there's one for Raw that's made, and they don't look the same anymore. That's what I think, because they did that with the men's titles and the women's titles. They don't look the same anymore.
I'm just not a fan.
So we're no longer getting the SmackDown and Raw names anymore.
Right.
They'll probably just go back to the World Tag Team titles and the WWE Tag Team titles, just
Correct.
like they have friends.
Yep.
Yep.
And one of them probably has the W on it. And then another one is probably going to be completely different.
Yeah.
Like the women.
I see you're having issues tonight, Al. It took you 3 times to write dumb. You went dimp, dump, dumb.
The women's world title almost looks like basically like Seth's title.
It's the exact same title.
Tag titles. Yeah, they can do the tag titles like that. And then the WWE tag titles have the big W on the front.
I think they want to do something different in a sense for the tag titles because the Intercontinental doesn't look like that and the US title doesn't. They still want to have a differentiate between the main titles and then the other ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been a fan of. I understand roster split and all that stuff. I get it. I don't need to be told it. It's just the fact I hate 2 titles. 1 world title, Intercontinental US, 1 set of tag titles, 1 women's title. I wish they would go back to that, but I'm only one fan with a wish. They won't listen to me.
That's fine. Go back to that, and you'll have half the roster leave because no one will else be in the title pictures at all.
I mean, the world title. See, you look at the world title picture right now between the 2 belts. You have Roman and Seth.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Cody. And you could probably count CM Punk, even though he's injured. Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, AJ Styles. Who else is in the world title picture?
Who else can be put there, or who currently is?
Who else is close enough to being in the world title picture right now?
Sami Zayn,
Okay,
Kevin Owens, LA Knight, AJ Styles.
It's about 10 people.
Yeah, but they're on 2 different shows.
I get that.
You're not going to have the champ go back and forth to every show. You can't do that when you're on 2 different networks.
I guess.
I understand what you're saying, but if you only have 10 people in a title picture as opposed to 20 from each show, like 20 across the 2 brands, It's a big difference.
I just never been a fan of 2 titles. That's all.
Well,
Never have been. And I think they can pull it off with one.
the networks,
Yeah,
won't-
they're definitely not going back to one title.
the networks will never do that.
No.
I know. I get
Especially
it.
since the world heavyweight title was just created last year. So I get what you're saying, but that's just not going to happen. At least not for the foreseeable future. So
It's a very valid point, Al. Which is why I think he's actually not going to be in it this year. I think it would make sense to have Bronson Reed go to Australia more than Bobby Lashley.
Isn't that Bronson Reed's hometown? Anyways,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would make more sense. Anyways,
oh snap! So Bronson Reed's gonna get in that match then.
but
I mean, you have the first ever 2 Australian women fighting for the title in Perth. What's going on, Tommy?
But the tag match, I agree. I could see Dunn and Bates. I mean, I remember. Oh my gosh, you go back to the days of when NXT UK first came around, and these 2 guys faced for the first championship. I mean, just even the promos and stuff you've seen after that, just the rivalry these 2 guys had. Now they're a tag team years later. I can agree that Judgment Day, the tag titles are kind of just there.
Which is why I can see them losing it in Australia.
50% of me is saying, you know what, take them off and put them on Dunn and Bates. But the other 50% is kind of like, I have a feeling they're going to do something after Elimination Chamber to get those tag titles in a decently good storyline with the Judgment Day involved.
No, I think because after that, I think we're going to start seeing the fractures become more prominent in the Judgment Day. And I see Damian Priest trying to cash in and Balor costing him the title.
You mean I might get my wish on Rhea Ripley actually being on her own?
Probably.
she's already kind of like separating, like more and more and more. Like Rhea, I said this on the live. I said, I definitely want to see Rhea. I would like to see it before she loses the title, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I definitely would love to see Rhea on her own. That babyface on her own, like she's massively over. Like listen to the reaction she got when she came out on the press conference. Like she doesn't need Judgment Day. Like she's surpassed them. So they're just kind of background noise at this point. So you don't even see her walking around with Dom anymore. Them 2 used to be attached at the hip. Anywhere Dom went, you saw Rhea. Anywhere Rhea went, you saw Dom. You don't even see them 2 anymore. So, and I was thinking about this too. I think that plays a part in them ultimately separating, because I feel like they're gonna play this out. I don't know when or whatever, but you'll have Dom like start like this losing streak or whatever, and then Rhea's still on her hot streak, whatever, with the title, without the title, whatever. And then Dom's gonna be mad at Rhea, like, oh, you're too what you think you're too good for us now? Like you never come around anymore. Like we used to all be a group, blah blah blah. That's gonna play a part, because I thought about that when Dom was backstage tonight, because again, he's just by himself, like no damage control, no Judgment Day, and no Rhea. Like, but he was talking about Rhea, but Rhea's not by his side. So that's what I kind of thought about.
And you make a point, because what was it, the last week or 2 on Raw, he's basically been the messenger, like, oh, Rhea said this, by the way, without her being on screen. But yet she's in the building, but she's not on screen with them.
There you go.
It's just Dom's the messenger.
There you go.
So a lot can happen from this. There's only one other match that we could talk about tonight, and that would be Sami Zayn versus Randy Orton. This was a great main event.
Yeah.
They had you believing that Sami could beat Randy, or that Sami was going to be going to the chamber, and then, just like Randy Orton always does, he strikes when you least expect it. What do you think, guys?
That was a great match. The only moment that I didn't really like, that I thought was unnecessarily risky, was when Randy does the superplex off the top rope, and then he was kind of struggling the rest of the match, and he was kind of like gassed a little bit the rest of the match, like he was just like wincing. And I was like, man, that's a major risk, especially since he came back from major back surgery. So I just didn't like seeing it. I just thought it was unnecessarily risky. But other than that, though, I thought this was a good match. I didn't think Randy was going to lose. Um, you know, uh, I love the ending where the standoff between Drew and him. I thought it was a good way to close it out. So either way, like I said, this is going to be a stacked, star-studded Elimination Chamber, and I'm hyped for it. Can't wait.
Mm-hmm. Mike?
Yeah, I mean, they had us believing for a minute there that Sami Zayn would have an opportunity to win. I mean, especially with building him up, of him saying like he's not the underdog anymore. He feels like he's a star. Like this would have been the perfect opportunity to kind of put him out as that star. But I get the point of putting Randy in as well. This could have gone anyway. Either way would have been the right was the right way. Either way was the right way between these two.
Here's a random question that just popped in my head. Does anybody know how many matches total Randy has had in WWE? Because I'm sure there's got to be some kind of record for that.
I mean, you got to think count of all the pay-per-views, the Raws, the Smackdowns, and the house shows. And he's been there since what? He debuted in what, 2003?
Yeah.
So, in his entire career, starting from 2000 all the way till now, he's had 2,425 matches.
Oh my God.
Now, I don't know if where that starts in WWE. Let's see, by promotion. Let's do that. So he's had 2,380 matches in WWE.
That's insane. That's wild. It just popped in my head because I'm just like, he's been there for so long.
Gotta love cage match.
Yeah, 1,289 wins, 1,065 losses.
Yeah, 1,269 of those wins are in WWE.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right. Is there anything else we want to touch on SmackDown?
I think that's it.
I mean, for my first, I'll say this: I haven't been able to watch a SmackDown in 2024 yet. This is my first SmackDown of the year, and it was a good show. Not bad. Looking forward to being able to catch SmackDown more often with how my work schedule is now. So, looking forward to Friday nights.
What tweet, Shadow? Did you tag me in it? How am I supposed to see the tweet?
I think he's talking about his tweet from yesterday with in regards to Cody, Rock, and Roman.
I already made a video to that, sort of, kind of. So,
WWE just put out a vignette on Twitter as I went there to go look at Shadow's tweet. New tag team put together.
men's or women's tag team?
Men's. Cedric Alexander and Ashanti the Adonis.
Really?
Yep.
That's interesting.
So interesting.
Well, I mean, at least they're doing something with Cedric. I mean,
I didn't even know he was still there until you just mentioned it. I had
he
no idea.
just hasn't been on TV.
Bro, where is Odyssey Jones at, bro? I like Odyssey Jones. They've not done anything with him.
You have a shirt for Odyssey Jones. Is that what you're pointing at? Is that his shirt?
What? My shirt?
Yeah.
No.
No, you were like looking at.
No,
like
I
you
was
were
hitting
pointing at the
my-
shirt.
I was hitting my arms.
Oh,
on the
it looked
shirt.
like you were making emphasis on the shirt you were wearing. I was like,
No,
damn,
I
you
was-
have an
I was
Odyssey Jones
hit-
shirt, bro.
I was hitting the arms on the chair.
So this was Shadow's tweet that he tweeted last night. Bookmark my words. Roman versus Cody. Rhodey fucks Cody over. No story finished. Cody versus Rock. SummerSlam 24. Cody wins. Cody versus Roman at an MSG show. Rock turns face, saves Cody. Cody wins the title. Rock versus Roman, WrestleMania 41. Rock takes the head of the table title.
Thoughts, Mike? I've already talked about this, so
I don't know.
I mean, I said it at the beginning of the week that doing Cody and Roman at Mania, it could be in my eyes, could be a good thing and a not so good thing. The thing is Cody is such a big baby face.
yeah, that's not happening, Allison.
But the thing is he wins the title. I have a bad feeling in 6 months people are going to be sick of it. Okay. And Roman is so close to the record that's been talked about.
But it's.
I get it.
I've brought that up, and everybody that I've spoken to about it is correct. It's third place. It means nothing.
But
If it was for first,
the thing
and
is,
the whole thing was they were trying to get rid of Hogan from that record,
Mhm.
but Hogan was just included in the Rumble, so now they're not going to worry about it anymore.
okay.
I mean, Allison, if you want to see this man have like a full freaking heart attack in the ring,
Because what I was
by all means,
gonna say is with them mentioning it so much over the past few months, my thought is they wouldn't have Cody lose to Roman 2 years in a row. Cody could have faced Seth, still could have lost to Seth. That would have kept Cody the big baby face that he is. Roman can go on, keep the title. And then in October, once he surpasses the September, which is the timeline, on the first SmackDown on USA in October, you do it at Madison Square Garden. That's where Cody can beat Roman.
You don't do it on a SmackDown. Sorry. If you're doing it at Madison Square Garden, because they don't do live show, they haven't done a live show at Madison Square Garden. They do like one a year. If you're doing it at a live show at Madison Square Garden, you're doing it one of the Saturday night main events that is on NBC, one of those 4 shows every year that they do, and you're naming it Starrcade. And that's where you do it. You don't do it on a SmackDown. You're either doing it at a Saturday night main event Starrcade show, or you're putting it at Survivor Series at the Garden.
And that's fine. But it would happen in October.
It would be November around Thanksgiving, same time frame.
Yeah. So,
But now that they put Cody in the main event with Roman, he's not losing.
I hope not. I mean, I liked Roman's reign.
not either.
I like Roman's reign. I'm a fan of it. I am. I know a lot of people aren't. I'm a fan of it. Would I like to see Cody win? Yes.
I saw that too, Cam, and I just ignored it because it doesn't make sense.
I mean, I'm a fan of both. I just really hope that if Cody has a lengthy reign, that when we hit the 6-month mark, we don't start hearing the boo birds and we don't start hearing the, I'm sick of this. Let's move on to the next.
I don't think you will.
I mean, you might.
Because
That's just
because
how
you
fans
haven't had
are.
you haven't had a face champion for the belt on SmackDown in 5 years. Because I really don't count the Fiend being a face champion on that show.
He technically wasn't a face, but people liked him.
Right.
Liked the character.
Right. He was a tweener. I don't consider him a face, even though he's a fan favorite.
He was a babyface heel. That's what he was, basically.
Right. So I could see Cody winning it at Mania, but I don't see him holding it a long time. He doesn't need a long reign. He just needs, his story is to hold the belt that his dad never did.
I mean, my question is I understand Roman has beaten almost everybody. Everybody that was put in front of him, he's beaten. The challengers he's faced a couple times over again. But the question is going to lie, like, who goes after Cody once Cody gets the belt?
Randy.
But he's going to go over on Randy.
Not if he's not the first person to face him. If
So
Randy is like the third or fourth person to face him, I can see Randy taking the title and getting one closer to being the 17-time champ.
But then the question lies is who's the first, though? And how long do they wait till they get to Cody and Randy? I know I'm talking ahead here, but my question is because Roman is in the attraction stage. It's like we get him as an attraction. So he gets challengers, but it's on the attraction base. To where Cody is an everyday guy. He's there all the time, and he's going to be there all the time. He's not going to be put in the attraction base area, which means he's going to have people continuously coming at him. So it's like, who would be first to face him? If the ultimate goal is Randy and Cody, I get if he's going to be third or fourth, but then who's first and second or third if Randy's fourth?
I don't think it matters really. I mean, they can build. They're going to have an easier time building someone up to face Cody than they have had building someone up to face Roman.
See, I don't think they really had too much of a tough time building somebody to face Roman, though.
No,
because
think about it, because
somebody would challenge him and it would happen. Like for example, like we got Cena, like when Cena challenged him back at SummerSlam 2 years ago. Cena came in and said, "I'm challenging you," and that was it. We were off to the races.
Yeah, but that's Cena. I'm talking like current active full time.
I mean, LA Knight. LA Knight came in and said, he pretty much came into the ring that night and said, like, you're in the spot I should be in. Challenge, bam, we got him at Saudi.
But they had to build him up, though. Can't forget that they still had to build him up. He didn't just come. He didn't just walk in the door.
Well, no, LA Knight, yeah, but LA Knight got built up. Exactly. But then once he was at that peak, Roman came back. LA Knight came in and said, "Hey, you're in the spot I should be in right now. I'm challenging you for that." And there it was. Then we were.
It's just like Gunther. You're not gonna have somebody just come in the door and challenge Gunther. And if you do, it's not believable because it's like, okay, we already know Gunther's gonna destroy this guy. At 1, 2, 3, go home. You know what I mean? Like you have to have a story play out that makes sense of why we're seeing this. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. I mean,
Cena's a little different because Cena's been around.
Jay kind of did that on Monday night, though. He came in and said to him, like, I want your Intercontinental title. I'm
But
challenging.
look at
That was after Gunther said I went through everybody.
see my point exactly.
Yeah.
But see, so that's from Gunther's standpoint.
Mhm.
And then you look, but like I said again, you look at Jay, look at where he started. All this bloodline stuff, all this stuff, separated from Jimmy. Now he's on his own. All this stuff he's been through. So you could look at that as like this weird crooked path to get to a singles title. See what I'm saying? So that's still a part of the build. You know what I mean?
So Cam, real quick question for you. The theory I gave you on Monday night about Jay being on Raw, does it make a little more sense now?
I don't remember what she told me.
So I said that I feel like Jay being on Raw is him almost acting like that, like spy to watch Cody
No.
for Roman.
No.
No?
What? No. Jimmy, no. You wouldn't have Jimmy and Jay face off in a Rumble and start beating the shit out of each other if he's a spy. You'd have done everything to avoid that confrontation from happening.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like that was Jimmy's role, really. I felt like Jimmy was like the court jester, as I call it. He doesn't really want to be in the bloodline. He's just trying to get close to Roman to bide his time to face Roman. But that's obviously not in the plans, but that's what I originally thought. So
I don't know. I have a small feeling that Jay's is still in with the bloodline.
I mean, I think he's
And yet you'll see Jay versus Jimmy at Mania.
Oh, you're definitely seeing it happen. Definitely.
I mean, I know they've mentioned that they want to do it.
It's gonna be awesome too. The story behind that. It's gonna be
I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
Shadow, you're the one that's overthinking it. They're not putting Cody winning the Rumble 2 years in a row into the main event of Mania 2 years in a row to lose 2 years in a row. That would make the Royal Rumble win meaningless.
Like I said, if it was against Seth, it would make sense. If against
No,
Roman,
it wouldn't make sense at all, either way. Because then you're just defeating the purpose of the Royal Rumble.
yeah, but Rumble winners have lost in the past.
Yeah, I get that.
So
But that's like saying the Money in the Bank winners lose.
You're right.
How many more Rumble winners have lost in the past?
Well, the world title has only changed, I think,
a lot.
20 or 21 times at WrestleMania, and we're going on to WrestleMania 40. So at least 18 times that the Rumble winner didn't win.
I don't think Cody's losing though. I just don't. Like, you don't go through all this and have him lose. You know?
I agree.
Again, not
I mean,
just lose.
Like I
lose
said,
again.
I feel like if it was against Seth, he would. But against Roman, no, not 2 years in a row.
Yeah, because against Seth's already what, 0-3?
Yeah.
So 0-4 would just be like, okay, let's not ever see this match ever again.
It's only been advertised for 31 years that the winner faces the title at Mania.
Well, they started doing that in what, 89?
93.
Okay.
And then
That's right, because 92 was for the title, and then 93 was the first year that they did it for the winner.
And then you take out the one from 2016 where that was for the title.
Roman.
So you've only had 29 opportunities so far.
Yeah. So that would leave, and the title, but the world title at WrestleMania changed only like 20 or 21 times, but that accounts for 2 world titles being there at times. Like, for example, when Sheamus beat Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, and then we had CM Punk retain against, I believe it was against Jericho that year, I think it was. I think.
I just don't see him doing it 2 times in a row.
Like I said, I feel like if it was against Seth, I could see him losing, but not against Roman. And if they're gonna have Cody win the title at Mania and he's only gonna hold it for a couple months, I want to say this, but I don't want to say this. We've already had we've already had one person win 3 Rumbles. We've never had somebody win 3 Rumbles in a row. And again, I know that's thinking ahead, but I think they do it with Cody. Crazy enough to say.
I don't think they do that at all.
I don't know. The nice thing about WWE is there's so many open possibilities now. There's so many open possibilities. WWE it's been exciting over the years, but it's more exciting now than it's been in the past maybe 15, 16 years.
But
and that was it.
But all right, guys, let's wrap up for the evening. Gone a little longer than expected on the show. So, Mike, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Metal Mike 714 all across the socials: X, TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat. You can find me on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rivet City Red Zone with the Candyman and Johnny H. We're going to get you ready for the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about NFL honors. Probably going to talk a little bit about the draft and talk about UFL because UFL is going to be starting up March 30th. It's kickoff. You catch me on Monday nights with Cam and Sean on the table spot right after Monday Night Raw at 11:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Wednesday night on Cam's show, The Boom, right after AEW Dynamite with Cam and Phil at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Cam?
Oh, you can find me on TikTok at Cam's Wrestling Corner and at Call Me Cam G. You can find me right here every single Friday night on Off the Top Media, right here on Twitch. Every single Friday night with Scalz and Jamie. You can find me on our other page, River City Radio, right here on Twitch. Every single Monday night with the Boom. Every single Wednesday night with the Boom with me as the host, and of course this man, Metalcore Mike, and of course Phil Kahn. But you can find me on Monday nights on River City Radio, right here on Twitch with the Table Spot with Mike and of course Sean. And then you can find me on Twitter at Cam and Cheese 317. And if that does not sizzle your bacon, you can find me on Instagram at 317 Bacon, Eggs, and Cam.
I am Scalz. You can find me here on Off the Top on both Twitch and YouTube, as well as Off the Top Media _ on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Every Tuesday night on here on Twitch, as well as live on TikTok, we do NXT on Tap. And then Friday nights, back here. Next week, we'll be discussing what happens on Smackdown, and then we'll go over what happened on the Super Bowl. Hope everybody has a great evening, and we'll catch y'all soon.